For years now, our favourite alligator that calls being Leatherhead has had many adaptations throughout the years, from comics to TV shows to movies to games, well, not exactly movies, but he's been in a lot of things, and it's safe to say that he's had a lot of different adaptations over the years. Some being good and memorable, some being just, well, yeah. I don't really say much more than that, but I feel like today would be a good time as any to look back on Leatherhead and see what was come before and what will come afterwards. So I'll be ranking the Leatherheads from best to worst. This will be the TV shows and comics, as like I said, there's no movie. And the games, well, he doesn't really have much of a personality in the games, and they're based on TV shows. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into that on. Let's go! And before we do get started, if you do like this content and want to see more from this channel, please do make sure to subscribe, like and turn on post notifications. Now let's get on with the video. And number 6 had to be the Archie comics. So this version of Leatherhead isn't like the normal version of Leatherhead that you normally get to see, where he was an alligator at first that got mutated and worked with the turtles and all that stuff. No, this one is a bit different in terms of the fact that he was a human, he was hunted down with this orb thing, and then he got turned into Leatherhead just because wizards, witches and stuff like that. And the overall turn of the event was pretty interesting, as he was manipulated into working with Shredder and to defeat the turtles, and then he went to the wrestling and stuff like that, and joining Mutant Animals. So I think there's potential there, or there was potential for this Leatherhead to be quite good. There isn't really anything too bad. I'll just say that because it doesn't really follow the normal what we know with Leatherhead being an alligator, who got turned into Leatherhead and that. I feel like that's where it sort of takes it away from me from liking it so much. But also not to mention that this one isn't really seen too often. He just appears every so often and in the Mutant Animal comics, which is okay, I guess. Well, if I had a character like this, I really would have thought he would have appeared more, and yeah. So number 5 had to be the 1987 cartoon. So this one you'll definitely know has been like sort of the original in a way, because you probably didn't read comics at that time. So this would be your first introduction to a character, and his favorite like line was, "Oh, I guarantee," and stuff like that. Oh, God, yeah, please don't turn it off the video. It does get bad. Still, nonetheless, this version was okay, and I would say it's definitely the reason why most other versions, or no, this is like the second one that became like villain. But I say it's the main reason why some other ones turn more evil than what they normally should do, such as the Archie one and I don't know, yeah. So I definitely say there's a bit of a problem here. But I'll say that I don't like this one as much as probably some other people. One, because I didn't grow up on this one, but I don't think that's anything to do with it. But also, the second reason is just that he only appears out of the blue to tell some problems, and that's literally it. If I was giving this character some personality, a reason for showing up every so often, and not just probably like once a season or something like that. Again, I've not seen every episode, and I won't deny that, but what I have seen of him, which I think is like 2-3 episodes, I think that there definitely needs to be something more than just him appearing there and being a big threat, and it's a shame because this is probably Bill's first introduction. It's a real shame because of it. Okay, so number 4 had to be the 1987 one. Well, no, the Mirage Leatherhead. This one was the first one that appeared in Tales of TMNT issue 6, I want to say, and he eventually became got introduced into the main comic run in issue, I want to say 45, and then that's when he turned evil, because he originally did start out as a good guy, but then he turned evil, and then every so often he would just appear in the other volumes, every so often. It wasn't like too big of a thing, but he was there, and yeah, I wish I could say more than that. I do like this version, as it was like the big whole concept of the character and birth of his character, you could say that. I think there was definitely a lot of potential here, and the direction I do take the character, I feel like is quite interesting because he was a good guy then turned evil. Something which I feel like maybe the 87 show could have done, or the Archie comics could have done, to really just give this character a bit more motivation. Because this one did have a motivation, he wanted to go home and all that, which was adapted in 2003 show, which I will be talking about that one very shortly. But still, I think there was so much potential here, and because it was the first one that the ideas of this character were still being developed, whereas versions that will come afterwards could take this material and also the 80s one and combine it into something special. So I think this one is definitely okay as a starting point, but there is definitely potential for there are definitely ways they could improve the character. So number three had to be the 2012 show. So this one I felt like was quite a good, like a very good Leatherhead. He had these good moments. I feel like he only had one episode that was particularly focused on him, which is the introduction episode. And I could say that the Dimension X episode was a bit more focused on Leatherhead, but I could say that I do feel like it is more focused on the story. So I do feel like there's some downside to this character where he's not given the attention which I think he deserves. Is like his own like little story arcs or anything like that. This character didn't really have anything going on for this character, except from the fact that if you said Krang or anything to do with Krang, he'll get angry. That's the only notable thing you could really say about him. Sure, he joined the Mutant Animals later, but to be honest, he didn't really do much, and this is like my real big problem with the this version of Leatherhead. Even though he did appear a few times within the show, his appearances didn't really mean much because he didn't really mean much to the show. If you see his character arc, his story arc, where he overcome his anger problems because Krang was gone, that could be quite interesting to see. You could have seen more than animals with him there. I think there was so much they could have done to change his character to make him into the best that we probably should have seen, but I feel like with how they structured 2012 show the characters, they couldn't exactly do that with this character or this version of Leatherhead. But if you do this one in a different time and give him the attention that he deserves, you would have an amazing character. I feel like. So number two had to be the IDW comics. I do actually like this one because I feel like he's not in it often, but when he does appear, you know, it's like, I wonder what he's going to do now, because whenever he does appear, he always has some very good moments. His first introduction, I'm not talking about when he saved Donatello, but his first story arc where he pretended to be Donatello's friend, but then killed Ultrons to go back to home, or to Earth and all that, or New York. His next one was with Han and tried to stop the fighting arena, then attacked Hob because I can't remember exactly to what. Next one after that was the trial of Krang, where he was friendly, but then he killed Krang, and after that you got him. What was it? He was having like a mental attack where like he was seeing Krang everywhere, and the most recent thing is now Krang is inside Leatherhead, like in his stomach and all that, and controlling his body. I think there is definitely some really interesting things for this character. I will say this though, is that they don't show him enough, especially within like the last like 20 Sonic issues, where he's had this very interesting cool idea with Krang being inside him, but yet they've done nothing with this character. Also, not to mention that every time we do see this character, he's always been different. Always been different. I know about like, the story and all that, but that shouldn't really change how he feels towards the turtles or anything like that. He should still be the same. But yeah, I'll definitely say that if there was to improve in all these little um, problems, you could say, with this character, I would definitely sad to say that he might reach the number one spot. But because, well, it's not exactly in, well, the series hasn't actually finished yet, I'm holding out hope and see where it all ends. And if it does change and it becomes extremely worse, then I'll redo this video. But if it does change, or I feel like this is pretty well I'm gonna put him. But yeah, so far he's been quite amazing. Okay, so number one spot will have to be the 2003 show, and I might say I'm a bit biased because I talked to the actor and also this is my favourite version. But I'm looking beyond that. I'm looking at the actual character itself, and this one is the best one you'll ever get to see. As this one goes through story arcs that, or they don't really, it goes through its own stories that no other version really goes through. Sure, the 2012 one had problems, but they never really focused on it too much to the point where it was a big concern issue for the characters or anything like that. It was just a one and done sort of thing. Like, never had anger, but I don't see why or how or anything like that. And all the other versions you can say the same for that. But this one went a bit further. Because in his first introduction, he was there as a good guy and all that. But then also that he got his story out where he had PTSD and anger problems because of the tool shot from Bishop. Amazing storytelling. That is incredible. To the point where he even wanted to commit suicide. This is incredible storytelling. But yet we don't see any news about it in today's society because the show doesn't get enough representation. And why did they give this character a story? Who knows? But it's amazing, and no other version has ever got it. So you have to look beyond that, and definitely say that it's incredible. Now, I do feel like maybe they could have had this character in a few more episodes. I feel like because there wasn't exactly in it too many, but with episodes where they it will get him in it. It only made it a lot better. So yeah, that was my ranking for Leatherhead. I'm quite interested to see where one has their version of Leatherhead in the comments below, just because I feel like maybe 2012 will probably be higher for most people to do like that version and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you do this one, please share, like, subscribe, and all stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.